Hey guys, my name's Justin and welcome to Healthboro, where we care about the design behind designer luxury. And if you care too, make sure to subscribe. Ooh, it's right there. Oh my god, can I please be normal once? Okay, so for today's video, I wanted to give some advice for people who are interested in buying their first designer slash luxury bag. I've seen a lot of videos out there that talk about getting classics and making sure that it's something that's gonna withstand the test of time, and I can tell you for a fact that every single video I've seen where they give that kind of advice, they talk about how they bought a bag that withstood the test of time and was a classic, and they still don't use it anymore. So I wanted to go a little bit more in depth into what the different parts and pieces of what makes a good first bag, and then really let you decide for yourself what that is. I'm not here to tell you like, get this exact bag, it's great. What I wanted to do more so is to kind of like lay it all on the line and help you make an informed decision. So if that sounds good, let's get going. So the first point I wanted to talk about is style. That's something that a lot of these other accounts, I think, don't really take into account, and they kind of like let it be assumed that you have like a basic style, but you don't have a basic style, right? The first point I wanted to bring up was formalness. When you're taking a look at whatever bag you want to buy, make sure that it matches your style, and that if you have a casual style and you want something that you're going to use every day, make sure it's a bag that you can wear every day. Don't get an evening bag, don't get a Chanel classic flap. Those are a little bit stuffy, a little too flashy for everyday use. But if you are that kind of like very like dressy, like classy kind of person, maybe that is for you. Then getting a little Louis Vuitton mini backpack, that's definitely not your style, right? But basically when you're looking at the formalness level, make sure that it does match your style. If you wear cut-off jean shorts and a white tank top with cowboy boots every day, walking around carrying a Chanel classic flap, I mean, you could make it work, but if you want something that you know will work with your style and you have that kind of casual style, get something that matches. The next point I wanted to talk about is avoid entry-level bags. So each brand does this. There's no brand that actually doesn't do this, I think. But avoid these basic bag shapes. They're just basically like rectangles or a basic like bum bag or a backpack. And they just are there to exist to get people to spend money on something that just is. It doesn't have any design behind it, it doesn't have any sort of story to tell, it just is a bag with a monogram on it to sell so that people know that you have a bag with a monogram. You can buy this bag. That being said, these bags are often priced so nicely that a lot of people do consider them for their first bag because they are so accessible when it comes to the price. But really, if you want something that you know you're gonna love and take care of and want to use in the future, you're gonna want to have something that matches your style a little bit more than just like a rectangle on a string. And this ties into my next point, which is do not worry about getting something timeless. Like I said, all these different accounts where like their first bag was a Louis Vuitton Speedy or Louis Vuitton Neverfull, and they end up never using it anymore because they just get tired of it. Just because you buy something that you could wear into the future and it doesn't have like a trend associated with it, doesn't mean you're going to want to keep using it into the future. So my advice would be to actually buy something that you find interesting, and if you don't end up using it anyways, then at least you have something that's more interesting in your collection instead of something that everyone else starts with. And that way, who knows, maybe into the future when you've gone back into that style, because we know that our styles do change over time, you could end up back in that style and be like, yeah, I'm ready to use this bag again, instead of just, oh, it's the same bag that everyone has that I started with. It's not really that interesting to me. And that ties into my last point. Get something that you love. When you open this box and you take apart the tissue paper that they so meticulously wrapped, you need to not be able to take your eyes off of it. That's how in love you need to be. It needs to be something that you almost obsess over, because even if it's like not impressive to someone else, you're the one who has to carry it. So you need to be in love with this bag and want to carry it and be proud of it. So when it comes to style, Only you really know what your style is. So a couple of bags that might be tempting for you are like the Louis Vuitton Neverfull or the Chanel Classic Flap, but does that actually match your style? I'm sure they're definitely desirable for a lot of people, but then is that actually what you want? I would consider a bag like this, maybe not this, but like an interesting shape. If you care about having a handle, a strap, and having like an interesting shape, go for like an hourglass. Or if you love Louis Vuitton, but maybe you're not such a big fan of like the brown monogram, get something that's made out of the vernis leather, like a pink color or something green, something more interesting. You're not going to regret getting something more interesting, something that fits your style more. So the next topic I wanted to talk about is size. So of course, when you're looking for an everyday bag, get a bag that's an everyday size. You're not going to want to have something that's either too small or too big that you're going to carry around every single day. I mean, I'm assuming that if this is your first bag, you're going to carry it around for a while before adding any more to your collection. And I would say a good safe bet is actually something that is kind of like in that medium size range. So if you look at the differences around medium, so you have mini bags and these kind of like 24-hour like weekender size bags. Let's start with the mini bags. So mini bags we know are super trendy right now. Everyone loves them, everyone has to have them, and because they're smaller, they're actually at like a pretty, kind of like a friendly price point. Like instead of being like 3,000, they're only 1,000. Like, so tempting. I don't know what that voice is. That being said, you're not gonna wanna carry a mini bag around every day unless all you have is a few cards, keys, a lip balm, or a lip gloss or whatever, like, because that's really all you can fit in there. If you want an everyday bag, you're gonna wanna be able to bring at least some cosmetics, maybe even like a mini umbrella, just a few things that make sense to have on you. I mean, the reason you're carrying a bag is to make things easier for you, right? So on the other end of the spectrum, we have these 24-hour weekender bags. I know if you're looking at the Louis Vuitton Neverfull, for example, the price difference between the MM and the GM is only like a few $100s. But then if you take a look at the size, it is a huge difference. One thing to think about with that is that it might be tempting to get that bigger size because you feel like you're getting more for your money. But when you're taking a look at these actual bags that are like weekender sizes, that you can fit like 3 pairs of shoes, 2 dresses, 2 shirts, 5 pair of pants, that's something to consider, that it's gonna be uncomfortable to carry something that heavy every day. I don't know about you, but when I carry like a big bag, I feel like I need to like fill it up a little bit. Fill her up. I'll make sure that everything that I need to feel like comfortable is in that bag, which is ironic because it is so uncomfortable carrying a heavy bag. So a couple of the bags that might be tempting when I talk about this point are the Louis Vuitton Neverfull, because you can get it in such a huge size, or the Bottega Veneta mini cassette because it is trendy, it is cute, and it is a really nice price point. I'm just trying to make sure that you enjoy carrying a bag, because carrying something that's too small that you don't have anything in is definitely going to turn you off from carrying bags. And carrying something gigantic that is uncomfortable for you is also going to turn you away. So for me, the perfect fit is getting something down that middle road. Something that can carry your daily essentials and then some. So what I'm suggesting is even the Balenciaga Hourglass or the Loewe Puzzle Bag. So this is the size small. It's not even their normal size bag, but it can fit quite a lot. It is super functional and it allows me to pack my daily essentials and then some. I've even packed in a mini umbrella in here and it still stays quite comfortable. Just make sure that you are thinking of yourself and what you want for an everyday bag and make sure you're matching that size. So the next point I wanted to talk about is versatility. When you're shopping for your first bag, you're definitely going to want something that, because you're probably going to be carrying it every day, is versatile. So when I say versatile, I mean it has a handle, it has a strap, and the strap can be for the shoulder or crossbody, but that also depends on what you like the most. A handle is the most convenient to carry short term, but because of like hand fatigue and things like that, it does get a little bit tiring and kind of annoying when you're not able to like put your bag down. And oftentimes I find myself in a situation where like I don't want to put my bag down either, because like I don't know anyone, I don't trust it to like stay there, or maybe I'm outside and I don't want it to get dirty in that way or something like that. So on top of that, you are going to want to have a strap. So the strap, especially when it comes to like long-term carry, is the most comfortable and most convenient way, but also making sure that it's like thick enough. Like, okay, I don't wear bras personally, but I do know like if you have a thin strap and you have a bag that's kind of full of stuff, it's going to feel like another bra strap. And then to me, I don't know the personal experience of that, but I have heard it's quite uncomfortable when you have a strap that you don't move around a lot or something like that. So making sure that you have a thick enough bra strap to like, oh my god, making sure you have a thick enough strap on your bag so that the weight is like distributed a bit more evenly, I think is super crucial when looking into that. And then putting that together, to me, it is super important to have a handle and a strap, whether it's shoulder or crossbody, because you need to be able to change it up. When you're carrying a bag for a long time, no matter what way you're carrying it, you are going to have some sort of fatigue with wherever you're carrying it from. A lot of the times I like to wear things crossbody, and it hits like this side of my shoulder, and if I carry it for more than a few hours there, I'll start to feel it and it'll start to give me like a headache. So then I'm gonna either want to carry it by the handle or switch it to my other shoulder or put it on the crook of my arm or something like that. Making sure that you have these options is so crucial to comfort, and making sure that you don't just like hate carrying a bag. Because if you don't find it comfortable, you're not gonna wanna keep doing it, and then you're just gonna be, I don't know, off of bags forever. That's not really that fun, right? So a couple of bags that might be tempting are the Prada Reissue or the Dior Book Tote. Those, when it comes to comfort, I absolutely would not recommend. The Prada Reissue, sure, it's fine, but it has this tiny strap and you can pretty much only carry it as a shoulder bag, aside from carrying it with your hand, but I don't think that's like the way that it looks the nicest, right? And then the Dior Book Tote, it doesn't even have a strap, it just has the handle, so you either carry it in your hand or on the crook of your arm. And because it's so big, it gets so heavy, and I've heard from so many people that it is so uncomfortable to carry. So for me, my recommendations would be something, again, like the Loewe Puzzle or like the Gucci Diana. So if you're taking a look at either of these bags, they both have a nice thick strap. I know that the Gucci Diana even has like a webbing strap for some of the options, but really you want a strap that's at least this thick. I would say it's probably like 3/4 of an inch thick, and then a nice handle. This is my most comfortable bag, but it is only comfortable because I can switch it around. Because even though this strap is thick enough, it still gets uncomfortable just because it is a strap that you're putting on your body with some weight. You're carrying something, right? But then switching to this handle, switching back and forth, is that kind of like reprieve that your body needs when you're doing work, when you're doing labor, you're carrying some stuff. And then for the last topic is durability. So durability, of course, is tied to the material. But one thing I want to say is when you're buying a first bag, make sure that it's something that you're not afraid to mess up or to have it get messed up. If you don't use your bag, you're not going to fall in love with it, and you're not going to love your bag and want to keep using it. I am absolutely the poster child for that when it comes to... More on that later. So definitely when looking at a bag's material, coated canvas and more resilient leathers, absolutely thumbs up when it comes to a first bag. Those ones, you're not going to be as afraid of spilling or, bending or scratching or something like that. Because they can withstand the test of time, you're not going to be so afraid of using your bag. When it comes to like lambskin, like soft lambskin, like I know like everyone wants a really supple, really like luxurious first bag, but if you're still a little rough around the edges when it comes to how you treat bags, I would definitely say like get something that's a little bit more durable, of course. And then talking about durable materials, of course we have patent leather, but my one thing about patent leather is that unless you know how to take care of it from the start, patent leather can actually degrade over time and then kind of like gets gross. I know that sounds like sad, but like it gets sticky if you don't take care of it in the right way over time. And I think I would hate for that to be your first bag experience and you say like, oh no, the leather is like getting like gross and I don't like touching it, when in reality like it isn't that difficult to take care of, but for your first bag, I would just stay away from that. Stick to coated canvas and more like durable leathers. But then talking about regular canvas or canvas with embroidery, things like that, those I would also avoid because it's most likely going to be cotton, and those kinds of things can stain. You can spill your drink on it and have it be ruined forever, and I would just hate for that to happen for your first bag because, you know, you're still learning how to act with it and you still want to feel comfortable with it, but also not have to think, like, be too precious with it. So avoiding those is definitely a thing to do. So some bags that might be tempting that I would say don't meet the criteria from this category are the Chanel lambskin. So Chanel lambskin is so soft and so sumptuous. It's amazing to feel. But I'm also struggling with using it because I'm so afraid of getting wet or staining it or something scratching the bag. I don't want anything to happen to it because I do know that this lambskin is so fragile. And the same thing when it comes to like these canvas or embroidered bags like the Delight or the Book Tote from Dior. Having something that feels fragile makes you feel like you don't want to use it, and I would say until maybe you've gained a little bit more courage from having more bags, maybe avoiding some of these more fragile materials, because I mean, I would say I have a decent collection, but I'm still kind of afraid of using this. That's also like my New Year's resolution, like use this and like be like happy with it. So that's just something to work on for me personally. Instead, I would recommend, again, I'm gonna show, this is a coated canvas. So this hourglass bag from the Gucciaga collab or whatever, I've walked with this in the rain, it's been snowing, I'm pretty sure I've spilled things on it, like I can go like this and not be afraid. Okay, I'm not doing it that hard, don't worry. But you know what I mean? Like, it's such a resilient material that I'm not afraid to use it. Even if I know it's gonna be like kind of a stormy day, I'll still wear it out and I won't worry about like covering it with plastic or anything like that because I know it's gonna be fine as long as I can dry it off when I get inside. So honestly, this is a huge recommend to get something like coated canvas or like a really, really nice leather. But that is all the advice that I have to give. Basically, the bottom line is get something that you're going to love looking at. I want you to love your bags as much as I love looking at my bags. I will often like stare at these bags just because I appreciate them so much. And I think when you see a bag that you can't stop thinking of or you can't stop looking at once you've gotten it, that's absolutely the right bag for you. And then next, get something that you're not afraid to use. Like I said, if you don't use it, you're not going to fall in love with it in the same way that you're going to fall in love with something that you make memories with. Of course, it could be a fragile material if you're not afraid of messing it up, but if it's your first bag and you are worried about that, get something a little bit durable, and then that way you're going to be comfortable using it and not be afraid of getting any spills on it or something like that. And then, of course, you're going to want to get something comfortable. Again, if you don't use it, you're not going to fall in love with it. So when you're using a bag and it's uncomfortable, it's going to, of course, deter you from using it. Make sure that you're getting something that you want to pick up every single day and that you are excited to use. But that's basically it. Like I said in the beginning, this isn't a decision that I can make for you. The most that I can do is help you stay informed and try to understand what your own needs are when it comes to getting a bag, specifically getting your first handbag. But regardless of if you take my advice or not, the fact that you are on the internet looking up information, trying to figure out some things on your own is already a great sign. Yeah, hearing what people have to say, but then making your own decision because of it, good job. Well done. But yeah, if you're on the hunt for your first handbag and you thought this was helpful, let me know. If you aren't on the hunt for your first handbag and you thought this was still helpful, let me know. Let me know if you think there's anything that I missed, anything else that I should have covered. I love hearing what anyone thinks about the buying process when it comes to handbags, first or not. So if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and that you too care about the design behind designer luxury. Until next time,